Judges 8. I read from the Institute for Scripture Research, the ISR, because it takes a direct translation from Hebrew to English, Greek to English, and Aramaic to English. The letter J is about 600 years old, while Yehoshua died on a stake for the sins of all of humanity more than 2,000 years ago, and Yah is the Elohim of the heavens and the earth, the first and the last and the only. And Yah is such a jealous El, that he doesn't even want the names of idols or mighty ones to come to his lips. It's like having your partner talk about their ex. Stop. Just stop. Although I don't believe in dating. I believe that dating is a sin, and all you do is sell yourself short every single time. To the point where you literally have nothing and you're not really worth much. If you court someone, then you don't sell yourself out. You don't give your body away to everyone. And you court them, make sure they're your best friend. If they don't match as being your best friend, then don't marry them. That's how a marriage lasts, because they're your best friend. Another word for judges is rulers. Judges 8. And the men of Ephraim said to him, "What is this you have done to us by not calling us when you went to fight with Midian?" And they contended with him sharply, and he said to them, "What have I done as compared with you? Are the gleanings of Ephraim not better than the grape harvest of Abiezer? Elohim has given into your hands the princes of Midian, Oreb and Zeb, and what was I able to do as compared with you?" And when he had said that, their rage toward him subsided. And Gideon and the 300 men who were with him came to the Jordan, passing over, wary yet pursuing. And he said to the men of Sukkoth, Sukkoth, "Please give loaves of bread to the people who follow me, for they are weary, and I am pursuing Zeba, Zeb with a line underneath of it, AH with a dot, and Salmunna, Tsalmunna, sovereigns of Midian." But the leaders of Sukkoth said, "Are the hands of Zeba and Salmunna now in your hand, that they should give bread to your army?" And Gideon said, "Because of this, when Yah has given Zeba and Salma into my hand, I shall tear your flesh with the horns of the wilderness and with briers. Briers? Briers. And he went up from there to Penu, Penu apostrophe E with a half a check mark L, and spoke to them in the same way. And the men of Peniel answered him as the men of Sukkoth had answered him. And he spoke also to the men of Peniel, saying, "When I come back in peace, I shall break down this tower." And Zeba and Salmunna were at Qarqor, Qarqor, and their armies with them, about 15,000 men, all who were left of all the army of the people of the east. Now those who had already fallen were 120,000 men who drew the sword. And Gideon went up by the way of those who dwell in tents on the east of Nobah and Yogbella. No, there's no L. Yogbeha. Nobah is N-O-B with a line underneath of it, A-H with a dot, and Yogbeha, Y-O-G with a line on top of it, B-E-H-A-H. And he struck the camp while the camp was at ease, and Zeba and Salmunna fled course. And he pursued them and captured the two sovereigns of Midian, Zeba and Salmunna, and shuddered the entire army. Shudded, shuddered the entire army. And Gideon, son of Joash, returned from battle from the ascent of Hears, and captured a youth of the men of Succoth and questioned him. So the youth wrote down for him the leaders of Succoth and its elders, 77 men, and he came to the men of Succoth and said, See Ziba and Salmunna, about whom you taunted me, saying, are the hands of Ziba and Salmunna now in your hand, that we should give bread to your men who are weary? And he took the elders of the city and thorns of the wilderness and berries, and with them and taught the men of Succoth a lesson. So he beat them with it. And he broke down the tower of Peniel and killed the men of the city. And he said to Ziba and Salmunna, How were the men whom you killed at Tabor? So they answered, They were like you, each one looked like the son of a sovereign. And he said, They were my brothers, the sons of my mother. As Yah lives, if you had let them live, I would not kill you. And he said to Yether, Yether, his firstborn, Rise, kill them. But the youth would not draw his sword, for he was afraid, because he was still a youth. Then Ziba and Salmunna said, Rise yourself and fall on us, for as a man is, so is his might. So Gideon arose and killed Ziba and Salmunna and took the crescent ornaments which were on their camels' necks. So the men of Israel said to Gibeon, Rule over us, both you and your son, also your son's son, for you have saved us from the hand of Midian. But Gideon said to them, I do not rule over you, nor does my son rule over you. Yah does rule over you. And Gideon said to them, I have a request to make of you, that each of you give me the ring from his spoil. For they had rings of gold, because they were Yishmaelites, Yishma with a half a check mark, Lites. And they said, We shall certainly give them. And they spread out a garment, and each man threw into it the ring from his spoil, and the weight of the spoil of the gold rings, that the request was 1,700 pieces of gold, besides the crescent ornaments and the pendants and purple robes which were on the sovereigns of Midian, and besides the chains that were around their camels' necks. And Gideon made it into a shoulder garment and set it up in his city, Ophrah, and all Israel went whoring after it there, and it became a snare to Gideon and his house. They took a garment and they put it up in a city, and all of Israel whored after it. It's a cloth. Who cares? Thus Midian was humbled before the children of Israel, and they lifted their heads no more, and the land had rest for 40 years in the days of Gideon. And Jerubbaal, son of Joash, went and dwelt in his own house, and Gideon had 70 sons who were his own offspring, for he had many wives. And his concubine, who was in Shechem, I think another word for a concubine would be a paid whore, who was in Shechem, also bore him a son, and he gave him the name Abimelech. And Gideon, son of Joash, died at a good old age, and was buried in the burial site of Joash his father, in Ophrah of the Abiezerites. Abimelech is A-B with a line underneath of it, I-M-E-L-E-K with a line underneath of it. And it came to be, when Gibeon was dead, that the children of Israel again went whoring after the Baals, and made Baal Berith, Ba'al-Berith, their mighty one. Thus the children of Israel did not remember Yah their Elohim, who had delivered them from the hands of all their enemies round about, nor did they show loving commitment in the house of Jerubbaal Gideon, according to all the good which he did for Israel. Ah, stubborn humanity.